Episode 159 of the BIC podcast. Second to last episode, the penultimate episode of 2025. We got one more before the year ends and we switch over to the new calendar. We've got a couple things. This is Eric's flu game. Or something. Plague game. Something or other. Regardless, we got a couple of small things we'll talk about. A couple of interesting things that may also play into what's going to come up in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. And then we'll give a little updates on a few things. All the regular segments. A little bit of fun with at someone's expense. Possibly Kenny. That and more on this episode of the BIC podcast. Yes, under the watchful eyes of Brett Favre. Here for episode 159. I'm just pleased that we'll get to episode 160 before the end of the year. Obviously, we're recording the episodes early on in the week. It'll drop on a Tuesday as is normal, but then we've got the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eves are happening on Wednesday leading into Thursday for both the days, so that's going to be a thing this week. As a result of that, I already mentioned it before, but I'll quickly reiterate it. Programming note, the Friday lives are not going to happen as normal. It will instead be a BIC Christmas special, which will happen on the 24th, as has been tradition the last 5 years, and then the New Year's Eve special, assuming Eric hasn't died by then. But Zombie Ray Bork has told us that may not be an issue. But we'll see what happens. Then there's a New Year's Eve that is traditional that goes into the following year. And if that isn't good enough, for the BIC Christmas special, I already showed it. I did receive an envelope from someone, a Gandalf-looking individual and his family. So I have kept it sealed. It is still sealed. And this shall be open.
You gotta open it.
Nope.
The
Christmas special
is very proud of this one. And
Christmas
I want to make
special.
a personal acknowledgement while you brought it up.
A personal acknowledgement.
A personal apology and direct of fault. So Yannick and Bobby, I apologize that there was no card sent your way, but Mr. Sanderson to Orr never posed the addresses for your places. So, Eric, it's your fault.
Wow. It is.
I even have a note here somewhere.
The fact that you only asked me once.
That was a mistake. He's had a lot of concussions.
And expected me to remember. Shame on
That
me.
is the Mrs. handwriting on as you can see, a little garden gnome post-it note thing. So she's blaming you too. Your BFF's blaming you too.
to have only asked me once, and I don't even remember you asking me. And the proof is
Carlos does.
And that's fine. But the proof of my memory, we can go back to earlier this afternoon when I had to send out like 5 different cards. Okay, memory and I are not friends. We do not get along.
Indeed. So Brandon, I will open it on the BIC Christmas special. I will be at the family homestead. If all things are good, Carlosino will make his appearance. I will bring it with me, and then we shall open it during the BIC Christmas special.
She's very. If y'all have seen her Christmas cards from the past, she was very excited and happy about this. She said this is her favorite one so far.
Good one.
And she has done a Harry Potter one and is a massive Harry Potter fan. And she still said this is her favorite one. So
I see. Fair enough.
She has fun doing it. So
yeah, it will fall. It will fall beautifully on Christmas Eve. So the BIC Christmas special will be live on Christmas Eve. It will be happening. It will be on there. So you'll see the placeholder ahead of time. That is for this week. And then for next week, the New Year's Eve episode, you'll also see a placeholder on there. It'll be there. We've done it the last 5 years. So it's been a tradition, 5 years in the making. We are here for year 5 on both of those. 5. All right. Let me get into a couple of comments from last week. Last week, obviously, we did a live episode because Collectors acquired Beckett. And obviously, there's been some additional happenings since then. Well, at least a congressman wrote a letter. That's not really happening, but, a thing occurred, I suppose. But obviously, it was a very popular topic last week, and we went live, as did everybody else in creation. It was a lot of fun. So regardless, we did have the conversation, so it was good. And thank you again to Simon for joining us on that one. A couple of comments from it, though. So Indie Cards, which is Kin, said I would not work in an industry that was also my hobby or something I enjoy, which was one of the questions I brought up during the course of that conversation. I made that mistake with IndyCar in 2012 and 2013. Once I saw the inner workings, it really killed my love of the sport for a couple of years. Totally fair. So, and Brandon's already talked about in the past, he was doing buying and selling of cards, specific cards, not just the general reselling, which he does now. The cards takes a little bit of the fun out of it when you're having to fixate on the profit side of things in order to make that portion of it work.
And coincidentally, on that topic, yesterday made my 4th year since becoming self employed, I guess. And yeah, I only lasted 1 year doing just the cards. It took the complete fun out of it being a hobby. So went to alternate avenues.
Yep. And we'll touch on something semi-related to it. I want to talk a little bit about hobby resilience because that'll be kind of a main topic-ish. There's a couple of small topics in there as well, so we'll touch on that in a second. But I totally understood this and I agreed with it. I was mostly focusing in on the working in the industry portion of it. But as we said in that conversation, I said it's one thing to want to. The idea is like, oh, well, I'm experiencing this. Like I've been in this a long time. I have this knowledge, which is totally true. But I asked the question because for some people, in order to get in the industry, you will have to sacrifice. And my answer was, well, if I can professionally earn a certain level that I'm accustomed to, I'm not willing to sacrifice just because it's a hobby company. If you're a business and you're a profitable business, well, then I expect to be compensated based on whatever my skill level happens to warrant. Because if I can make more money doing it somewhere else, I'd rather just do it there and make my money. And then, Eric, you know what? I'll buy my cards that way. Because then I'm at least getting paid appropriately, and then I have enough money to pay my bills and buy my cards if that's what I want to do. Heaven forbid. All right, so thank you, Ken, for that feedback. And then Rob here says, could be the buy it now. Could be the buy it now was there, so we wouldn't have to pay as much tax on the money they made this year. Kind of speculating why they would have made the move. A lot of businesses spend towards the end of the year, which is possible. You know, I think it's a variety of factors. I think the whole acquisition was not just one thing. We talked about the comic aspect. We talked about the fact they've got some other stuff on there. Even though the marketplace obviously has fallen into disrepair, it still exists. The Burbanks of the world still have a ton of cards in that position. So the point is, you can make a small cut of all these transactions. There's a little thing there. The magazine and all that, at this point, people don't really care. But, Brandon, PSA does have a magazine. So you could kind of merge the two, and there are things you could do. My point is, I don't expect any of those to be the big profit center, but I think the comic book thing, the autograph authentication thing, the fact that you get some additional graders, the fact you have access to these things. There's certain little things. If you add up all the components, Brandon, I don't think it's just one thing. If you add up all the pieces, you can get some value out of it.
There was another element that they have that I don't think that we mentioned it, and it's not a big space, but it is a space that PSA didn't have a grading section of, but Beckett does have the video grading that they had started up. And so that now, you know, we've seen what PSA did with WADA. They just, you know, got rid of the WADA name and turned it into PSA for the video games. They could do something similar and just, you know, absorb that into a PSA and get them in the grading for the videos too. So
yeah, there's things you can do with it. Like I said, it's all speculation at the moment. Like we're not specifically privy to what it is they're trying to do with it. There's a bunch of little pieces that you're going to have to figure out what to do with. Presumably you have answers to it. I'm going to shrug my shoulders and say, like, we don't know. It will be fun to speculate. That'll be one of the stories leading off next year. That'll be one of the things that we'll kind of have a chance to follow up on, no doubt. We'll find out a little bit more as we go along. Next comment, I wanted to make sure I read it because it's a little bit of a longer one, but also Refractor Jones. I left a comment here. It says, Bobbles, I won't say I told you so, but I told you so. 2 for 2 on the predictions. First with SGC, then Beckett. Remember I predicted this years ago. The PSA plan is to do regional grading, as I said. This would cut down on turnaround times by submitting where you are regionally located. Again, PSA California, PSA Texas, PSA Jersey. The only thing that we'll look at next is to gain the regional office in the South. Isn't Texas kind of South?
Well, he did a similar post on his Instagram, and I made note he had forgot about the Florida office.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Completely cover the region, simplify incoming inventory process and processing time to turn over cards, and more importantly, money. I won't be any part of this as my 30 years of submissions, PSA submissions has stopped this year. And I would suggest if you're in this for the hobby aspect, consider CGC, another little note for CGC. Maybe Bobbles can do a CGC subgroup. I am ready. So there you go. Another vote of confidence for that. So that's fine. Rob here also commented, when I voted on the silly card of the week, it was 100% bum. So that's where it was at that point, early on. Ken also included, love the $1 Million Man clips. You should use that more frequently. I do like to sprinkle the bet. I don't want to abuse it. But if you hang in there for a couple of minutes, Brandon, if he hangs in there for a couple of minutes, maybe Ted DiBiase will make an appearance in a few minutes. Spoiler. Hang in there. All right. And then finally, Rob said, missed live. Just catching up tonight. I got news that a guy in the know after I visited the local card shop, AMG. So let me quickly do the AMG piece. Thank you all for the comments. Appreciate it. I wanted to make sure I touched on those. Thank you to AMG for supporting the channel and the podcast, amgcollectibles.ca, AMG Collectibles YouTube channel. So I'm going to let you all know now, and I will put a placeholder on the channel. So in addition to Eric having the flu game, folks at the AMG currently are having a bout of the plague themselves. So right now it's been the bug that's been going around, but also we're towards the end of the year. We're into the holidays. There's going to be the holiday hours and all that coming up because they are in the mall as well. So for the next couple of weeks, we're kind of shutting down the podcast for the next couple of weeks. We're going to come back on in January. So I will put a little placeholder so everybody knows the hours and everything related to it. There's also no new series coming out for the next couple of weeks. Basically, it's going to be kind of relaxing as the holidays are coming out. So Steve and everybody are going to try to they're going to try to get themselves better. And at the same time that they're getting themselves better, then everybody will take a little holiday break and then we'll come back. And then right at the beginning of January, we'll be back with more podcast episodes. So just giving everybody a heads up. So enjoy your holidays from everybody at AMG. Hopefully, if you do have a little bit of the bug where that's going around, hopefully you feel better soon. But at the same time, everybody will take the holiday break. So enjoy your holidays. Take it easy. Friends, family, whatever you do to celebrate. And then we'll all be back in 2026. So the episodes will continue. And then we'll have the placeholder there in the meantime with the holiday hours and everything. If you do want to pop into the store, they will be open, but there will be hours that will be adjusted according to the holidays. So thank you to AMG for supporting the podcast and the channel. All right. Wanted to make sure I touched on that first. And then I think the only other thing I got to do now, so let's do silly card of the week here. I will give you the results. Let me quickly set this up here so we can look at it. So last week we had 46 votes, which was very good. So thank you all for that. Appreciate it. Pretty good result, I would say. Not too bad. So let me get the results here set up for you, and then we'll give you the new one. So there will still be a community post for us this week, just like before. And then everybody will get a chance to see exactly what they're voting on. As usual, all the votes count. The only true democracy in this world. So let me go here. Okay. I think this one will be a little bit blurry. I'll see if I can take the picture of it better next time, but you'll get the gist of it. Okay, so here are the votes. So we ended up at 46 total votes, so thank you all for that. So choices were made. Lack of appreciation for Martin Berdure. The audacity. 15% of the popular vote. School Picture Day only got 13% of the popular vote. And the subtlety of Brandon. With the fro, our bat boy, hashtag subtle, got 72% of the vote. So a strong win for you, Brandon. A strong victory.
Good job.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. They've been pretty solid. So let's keep that going.
Yeah, you've whatever it is, you're catching on to the zeitgeist of the people right now. So right now the people are on your side. So we'll see if this continues. We got a little bit of a theme to develop this week, so we're gonna see. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with this one. All right. So again, there'll be a community post with all these options. We're gonna give you the silly card of the week this week. So here it is. So Brandon, you're gonna get to make your pitch first. We're gonna start off with you because you were hungry.
Yeah, I seen this one, and like I told y'all, I sent this last Monday or Tuesday. I mean, we all love the condiment jokes on the channel, right?
No.
Jokes.
We've had many we've had many food-related silly cards of the week. So we got the condiment, which I would just like to point out, Vladdy could not squeeze that ketchup bottle any harder.
He's angry.
And there is nothing coming out of it. So you got the hamburger, you got the crushed ketchup bottle, you got, Vladdy in his full uniform, hat on backwards, huge smile. He knows that this is ridiculous. A cup of coffee, no fries. I mean, I guess he's working, watching.
I'm debating if that's even a legit burger because I don't actually see the burger in there.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Cool idea by Topps because let's be honest, their photography has sucked on most all of their cards. So props to them for actually getting a fun photo. But yeah, a little ridiculous.
For the record, after we originally showed this, I went looking for it. They're a little bit too expensive, Brandon, but I kind of want one.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and let me have your thoughts. And I know a lot of the viewers are Canadian. So would you have preferred this burger with the crushed ketchup, or would you have preferred Vladdy with a nice basket of poutine?
It would have been more thematic and more Canadian. I just like it regardless. I just appreciate the direction they decided to take this one. So I'm gonna look for some of the alternative versions. Obviously, the black out of 10 that'd be kind of expensive.
Yeah,
But there are some alternative versions of it that may be interesting, and I might want to add this one to my collection. I could have a little bit of fun with this. All right, so that's the first option we have. Second option, Eric sticking with the baseball theme. See, Eric of the baseballs. Go on, Eric.
This is just another silly card I saw kicking around the shop recently, and thought it would make sense for silly card. They have turned there's some type of, I don't know what that is, Rubble Crew.
It's a cartoon of some kind. I'm not familiar with it, but it's probably a kid's cartoon. That's what it looks like to me.
So they've turned Aaron Judge into some kind of dog cartoon type character, and I can't say I know what Aaron Judge looks like if he bumped into me someplace. I don't know if I'd recognize him, but
he's 6'8". You bumped into him. He kind of stands out.
But what little I've seen of him, it doesn't really look like him. So anyway, I just thought this was silly that he's here with this cartoon. He's a cartoon now, and he's on the Rubble Crew with his dog friends, and it looks to me like the dogs probably talk.
Probably.
So, yeah, I thought this was silly.
I was guessing on the hype, Brandon, but I'm pretty sure it's close. Like he's like 6'6", 6'7".
I think he's maybe 6'7", 6'8", something like that. And I might be wrong. I think that is either Rescue Heroes or Paw Patrol.
Maybe. I genuinely have no idea, but it's obviously a kid's cartoon. Like we don't have to research that deep to figure out it's a kid's cartoon.
It was bugging me because I've seen the card before, and I know the cartoon. Obviously, you know, I have kids and all that, but it's one of the two. But
it's an official Pops card, you know, it's licensed and everything because it's got the Yankees logo and it's made by Topps.
I'm pretty sure it's actually a pretty pricey.
It's probably short printed. I would think it's short printed. Yeah,
it's a real card, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, I will add children's cartoons, the list of things that Eric hates. We'll just add the kids' cartoons. Kids can't have cartoons either.
And
per Eric. All right, so we got that. We got that.
We won't use about them kids.
Yeah, listen, Eric is all about that. That was originated by Eric. People don't realize that. All right, so we got the two cards. All right, Brandon, one more to finish the trifecta. I think it's time for Let's Go. Let's Go.
He's doing the heel click.
This is after he got his ketchup. Somebody handed him finally one that had ketchup in it, Brandon, and then he was like, "Let's go."
He's got the jersey untucked. He's got the Jordans.
Yeah. He's doing the heel click. Don't you feel like he's literally like this is like right now he's getting some air as he does the heel click.
He clicked he's got the glove so hard it made the Chiefs move.
It's amazing. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. Let's go indeed. Let's go indeed. So I figured this would be a perfect bookmark to yours, Brandon. I figured we'd start and end with Vladdy on this one. So all baseballs this week.
Well,
on the silly card of the week.
What do you think his reaction is going to be if somebody hands him that card to sign? He's going to be like, "They did me dirty."
I think he's got a good personality.
I think unlike you, Eric, who basically hate everything in life, but he's going to be like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah, he looks like he could be fun. You know,
like heaven forbid someone have enjoyment. See, Eric likes his cards miserable, horrific. It's like the Boston Bruins. I want nothing good in my life. Nothing good. Nothing but pain.
I disagree about the Bruins. They lost
pain
yesterday. They're
pain.
hard.
That's why, Eric, that's why you like the Boston Bruins, because they bring you pain. You would rather they lose every game forever. You're just mad they scored goals. And it would be better if they got shut up for a season.
And can I make one announcement?
And
only one? Go on.
Jason Robertson has officially scored against every NHL team except for his own.
Oh, for the love of God. I'm going, Brandon, for 2026, my commitment to the people is that I am going to come up with an animation, a graphic. I'm going to have something for the shameless Jason Robertson pump that we are again in the middle
posted it. I was just sharing the news.
Eric, I'm going to come up with something. I haven't figured out what it is yet. I'm going to think of something, and we're going to debut it in 2026. I'm going to have something ready for Brandon, because the moment he does it, Eric, I'm going to push the button, and it's going to happen. It's going to be incredible. I'm gonna workshop this. I'm gonna figure it out, and we'll have something. All right. So anyway, so there's our silly card of the week. Post community post will be on there. Vote early, vote often. The only true democracy in this world. It'll be there for you. Okay. So
shame.
It's endless. It's just heinous. And and it makes sense because he's in. I think he's in a contract year, so he better score some damn goals because he's trying to sell it right now. Right now is the opportunity, or I think he's either restricted free agent or free agent at the end of the season. So right now is a good time to score some goals. Get the value up. So anyway, all right. So we got that. Let me go in here and really quick, let me find. So like I said, for the most part, that's going to cover a good chunk of what we were talking about. Now we got a couple of pickups, so I want to share a few. So I'll share 3 quick ones. I did show off one previously, but I'll go through these quick. And then if you guys want to include any, you certainly can. So this will be I think this will be the last pickup segment for me, because right now nothing else is coming in before the end of the year. So we'll see if anything else comes up. And we'll talk about some of the stuff. So first one was from Immaculate. Yes, from the Immaculate Collection. We got the Chosen Rosen. This is the player's cap tags. And it's it's a nondescript relic, not from any specific whatever, blah, blah, blah. Although this one is player worn. They do label this one as player worn. So they do have that. So you got the New Era tag on there. I never had one of these, so obviously Rosen is a perfect excuse to get these things. It amuses me. Second one is kind of fun. So this is from the Art of Hockey. Yeah. So this is the paint by numbers. It's got 2 patch pieces and a jersey piece. But the reason I like this one, Brandon, is number one, I thought the patches on it were nice. At least 2 out of the 3 there are nice patches. I like the Leaf stuff as long as you can get it inexpensively enough. I'm okay with it, so that's fine. But then the other thing was, and I was like 95% sure of this, Brandon. This is number 2 of 2. I actually have 1 of 2. So now I've completed the 2. So Eric, it's like a 1 of 1 because I got them both.
There you go.
It's a nice looking card too.
It is, yeah. If you're going to do unlicensed, and obviously you're missing the logo and all that, make the rest of the design look interesting, because they're going paint by numbers. So the background and being busy as it is makes sense. Thematically, it's fine. I don't mind it. And you got some memorabilia pieces, and they are game used memorabilia pieces, which is fine. And then the last one is one that I showed off already. I put it on the Instagram, which is the legendary signature shots from Ingrained. Nice looking card, obviously manufactured wood piece or whatever, but it's an autograph, just another autographed PC.
Is that the newest Ingrained, or is that a past?
That is actually, it was from last year's Ingrained, but it was an update card from it. So they included 2 versions of the update card, but it is not from the icons. It's not the brand new one.
Did you see what Steve posted today?
Sorry?
Did you see what Steve Angel posted today?
Yeah. Yep. I did.
No.
I'm always keeping tabs. I always check in, and sometimes I'll reach out to him and ask, but regardless. Okay, so did either one of you guys have any pickup that you wanted to share?
I have this one that came in. I still got a few more things that haven't arrived yet, but this is the white refractor out of Topps Chrome, and I don't know why my camera will not.
Well, it's still focusing on you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, it kind of stays focused on you because it's focusing on the background instead of the foreground.
The Dalen Lyle Chrome Update White Refractor. They used to do whites back in past years, and with all of the changes that they're making with the parallels and all of that, it's numbered out of 30. And something that I found interesting with it, it's the only one that doesn't have like waves and ray waves and all this other crap that they made. Mm-hmm. So I like that it's just one solid color, it's a clean card, and then it doesn't have a bunch of variables to it. And then I was able to get my Atari games back from CGC, and these are the Walking Dead ones. Close the door. So is that her? All right. Sorry, guys. I have a visitor. What you doing? You what?
Oh, you're a cutie.
Say hi.
Oh, that's a cutie for sure.
Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. What's your name?
What a cutie.
Are you playing?
Say no, I'm telling you night night.
Oh, you going night-night? Okay. Sweet dreams.
Good night.
Say night-night.
Love you.
Say love you.
All right. Sorry.
Oh, hey, night-night's
No worries. Listen, we say the same thing to Eric before we send him off on the Friday Live. Bobby has to tell him the exact same thing or else he won't go away.
That's true.
No, that's actually a friend of ours, little girl. She has 3 kids. That's the youngest. They came over today and had Christmas with us. And
Awesome.
since I don't have grandkids, I enjoy buying for the littles. So yes, I have already spoiled them, but
Good.
so
There you go. There you go.
Yes, well,
mine are grown, so I have to do it for someone else.
I know. I gotta find a little one because mine aren't ready to have kids yet, and I need some of that in my life again.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
fun. So
And maybe then you would stop disrespecting Paw Patrol, Eric.
see, there's proof of why I would know Paw Patrol and Rescue Heroes.
It all comes together. It all comes full circle. That's what I'm saying. All right. So real quick, there's a couple of little mini stories that I want to talk about, and we can kind of do one. Unless, Eric, there was a pickup that you want to quickly talk about.
I picked up a 57-58 Hall of Famer, Alan Stanley. This thing is absolute crispiness. I can't believe what in good shape this is for how old it is.
Good color.
Stanley didn't play on the Bruins for all that long, but he did make it into the Hall of Fame, and I couldn't say no when I saw this. So it is the corners, the centering, the colors, the everything for it being from 1957. It just blows my mind how nice this thing is. So I picked that up. So I'm happy about
Absolutely. And I have no idea how it could have accomplished such a thing. Just theories. We all got theories. Anyway,
that. Once I get the card, it belongs to me. I can do with it as I wish. And if I want to put it in the in the paper cutter with the big old sharp arms, I'll do what I want.
So
Brandon,
Brandon,
use a
I think
fishing
you'll-
wire and make it peachy.
Yeah,
Everything.
there you go. Exactly. Everything's so PG. So Brandon, I think you'll appreciate this first. We did, like I said, last episode, we talked about the Beckett acquisition by Collectors Universe, currently Collectors, aka. And then I mentioned, we talked about the CEO's statement and how, every one of the third-party grids is still out there, even ones that no one cares about, all had to have their statement. But the CEO of Collectors Group, the one that owns CSG and all those great things, and obviously you showed off a couple of slabs there for CSG related to, grading video games and such. So they've got their hands in a lot of pies. Sorry, CGC. They've got their hands in a lot of pies. There's a lot out there. So, and obviously they're a player. Regardless, they have to be respected as a player. But I said, the statement rings hollow with me because a lot of the stuff he said, while true, so what? I don't care. What I want is tangible action. One of the things they included in the letter was there was a discount on the membership, which has some value. That's the thing. They've got a code where you can get a discount for just regular people to have it. That's smart. But they are also raising the price. So you're kind of counteracting yourself. But there is something that was announced earlier today. So we're recording this on a Monday. We're dropping the episode on Tuesday. There was something that I caught on the social medias, which while it is a niche case, it's not going to be useful for most people. I do think it is relevant because it is an investment beyond just the obvious. So I do want to share it here. So I'm going to show it to you, and I'll include a link in the description to it. And that is from their Instagram. And that is this. Let me go Chrome tab. Let's do here. From their Instagram, they now have a Tallboy holder. So they're announcing here that they are actually creating they've got a Tallboy holder for the vintages, Eric. Now, the reason this is important, now, real quick, obviously looking at the mock-up and everything, I think that thing is going to be gigantic. It's going to be like ridiculously oversized.
They don't need to make it that big. That's stupid. Come on.
But Eric, the point is, this is a new holder form factor for them. And for the vintages, if you had Tallboys and you wanted CGC to grade your cards and you wanted to give them a shot, you did not have the ability to do so previously. So it's still a step in the right direction. Hey, here's something else. Brandon, this is the first proper overture to expand your audience beyond where you were before. We talked Andy Broom, who is in charge of their grading. He's a vintage guy. So it is almost forgot. Like, people keep throwing that out. They keep talking about like all the things. It's like, oh, I'm an SGC. What am I? It's like, well, CGC, The head guy is a vintage card guy. And this is obviously tall boys. There's only certain years. You got basketball tall boys, you got football tall boys, you got the hockey East tall boys. So they're out there, but it's not like they made them for a ton of years. So it is a niche case. It's a very specific set of years where that's even applicable. However, if you do collect them, you want a Joe Namath rookie card. Well, that's going to be in a tall boy. That's going to be one of those. The Lou Alcindor / Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's a tall boy. So if you want a chance to grade those, Eric, you have to provide the holder. Even though I think based on that mock-up, that holder is a little, you can shrink it a little, it'd be fine. But I'm still glad
it's about the size of the SGC holder.
I would think so. But my bottom line here is, Brandon, this is the first tangible, at least by creating the holder, at least you're trying. I appreciate that you're at least doing a little extra, because this is an investment, because to create the holder, to set it up, to do the machine, it takes a little bit extra work. Good. That's what I want to see.
How about this nonsense?
Yeah. All the companies have this issue where some of the stuff, it's just the holder size is too big. It's just too big for what it is.
It's the size.
The bottom line,
freaking head. Why? Just so stupid.
I have one that's worse, but I'd have to dig it out.
Yeah, and did I mention Beckett? So anyway, bottom line.
My desk is a tall boy Beckett.
Yeah. Bottom line, Brandon, I'm grading on a curve here. One of my overarching point is this is actually a tangible thing. If you're going to at least show me that you're doing some of this other stuff, okay, great. At least now you've got one more option, Eric. If you do want to grade the tall boy and you're okay with it, then great. At least they've got the option now.
To actually go back on these real quick and speaking on making the holder, I called them before I sent these in, because on the website, it says for cartridge only, they only do Nintendo products. Mm-hmm. This is obviously an Atari 2600. And the girl responded very quickly saying that, yes, they would do them. They would put, what I wanted on there and everything. And I sent them, honestly, with the expectation that they were going to get back to me and be like, oh, we made a mistake. These are Ataris. We can't do them. Instead, I paid for walkthrough service, and they literally walked them through because they were done the same day that they were delivered there, and they had the holders for them. So I was impressed with that. Because I hadn't seen any online that they had done. So I didn't even know if they actually had the holder for them. So I do think that they are trying to cater to everything, or at least pretty much everything out there. That way they don't have to turn people away and say, no, we can't do that or whatever. So that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what you just experienced was a good surprise. It was a surprise, but it was a good surprise. And that is, so again, Eric, going back to what I said, I've been very clear on this. I don't care what company you use or don't use. That's your business. That's completely up to you. I've said that there are certain ones that I'll use for certain things because they serve my purposes, which is fine. And there's a lot of cards. Most of my cards in my collection will not get graded under any circumstances because it doesn't make any sense to do so. But there are other cards where I will totally do that because, frankly, I either want to or it serves a purpose for me. And I'm good with that because that is the reason I'm doing it. I am happy that CGC is announcing that they have another form factor. I won't be using it, but that's still a good thing. That means you're showing investment. You're showing, now you're backing up your words with action. That's what we like to see. We want to see some action because words are empty. Words are meaningless. You got to show me. Okay, well, here you go. Now grading tall boy cards. Cool. All right, what else you got? Step one. You're at least showing that you're at least willing to invest a little bit in that. That's a great thing. Brandon had a good experience because they actually had a form factor that fit what he was actually submitting. Well, that's good. Now, if he gets something like that down the road, now you've given him at least a thought. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can send it to these guys and they can do it for me. That's a good experience, Eric. That's how you build. That's how you build a customer base. You got to at least give them a good experience or at least give them the option so that they can look at it and go, okay, so now you guys are, before CGC was not an option for tall boys and now it is.
Yeah.
Whether you want to use it or not.
Not yet.
So that's a good thing.
You got to compete. And if you are saying we only do this much, we don't do, C, D, and E, we only do A and B, then you're behind the 8 ball. You're running yourself out of the market. You have to compete. And if the other companies, are offering these services, you need to offer these services if you want to swim in the big boy pool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So kudos to them. Again, we'll see how they're executed. We'll see how people feel about them once they get them in hand and everything. I'm just glad they have a thing. That is good. So that's a little mini update, which is good. And it was just announced earlier today. So good on them. And let's see how it goes going forward and how well they execute it.
It wasn't a mini. It was a Tallboy.
Well, until I see more, right now it's only a start. But it is a start. It's better than nothing. It is a start. Yeah. So we'll give them credit for it where it's due.
I hope they get the feedback. No, just real quick. I do hope they take some feedback from maybe after they post that just, you know, that we don't need dinner plates. No one likes them. No one wants them. Just, you know, you look at any other graded card, right? Look how far off the plastic is to the side of the card. So you're very capable of doing that. You don't need to have the plastic out here. It can go right next to the card and everything will be okay.
The thing is, though, is this might be the first step in the adaptation, and having the width may allow them to then do some of the more like square cut cards that are wider than a normal card, but maybe aren't as tall. So we don't.
I think they're probably holding that for like. I think they're holding it for like postcard size and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, so it might be multifunctional.
Oh, Beckett had multifunctional.
Well,
you had a lot of sizes.
They had this for this.
Memories. Anyway, all right, moving on. So that was a quick little mini story. Here's another one, Brandon, and I think we need visual accompaniment with this one. Let's take a look at this.
This will sell anywhere between $5 and $7 million.
Hey, Ken, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
I got one more question, which is...
Yep.
For the kids out there who are thinking of buying new cards.
I think there was a video on Instagram at one time about somebody doing something similar with a hocky stick.
There we go.
Yep. It all comes together. Sorry. It all comes together.
As soon as I saw that, I went, "Oh boy, I'm going to hear about this."
The important thing is, our boy Kenny is back. Our boy Kenny is back. So I will credit Neo for having the clip, the initial part of that clip, in his video today that dropped on Monday. But Brandon, I had to take it a step further. I was not satisfied with merely the first second. No. The slowdown and the $1 million man making an appearance in the end. That's all me. That's all me. But Eric, bless this man. Bless this man. He was like, Carlos is like, oh, this might be a slow news week relative to the last couple of weeks. It's like, hold on, let me give you something. So anyway, so he was promoting obviously the King of Collectibles, and as part of promoting the King of Collectibles, he was showing off the Honus Wagner, the Honus Wagner T206 that they graded as part of it, and also apparently was delayed. They didn't include it in the pop report until the reveal. Ooh, look, I really don't give a shit one way or the other. However, it was hilarious that it's like that's why I played the first part where he says like, oh, this card could be like between 5 and 7 million. Ah! And then it was a smooth. Did you see the smooth recovery there? Like Kenny is like, it's all good.
If it would have made it to the floor,
so good.
He'd have been like, cut the news.
If only they had a slab mag. If only they had a slab mag.
I hope I didn't look. I assume it wasn't in a bag, so
it wasn't. It wasn't anything.
It didn't get scratched.
So good, so good. Kenny, my boy. Okay.
Every graded card in the world should be in a bag because nobody wants to buy or trade your scratched up holders. As soon as the PSA should send them back to you in bags.
They do now. I think they basically put it like in a little PSA, like a little plastic baggie on it.
One thing on that though, if you don't put them in the bags correctly, I have found that some of the bags actually, with the friction of it will leave scratches on the holders.
It can.
That's crazy. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it is possible. Yeah, I've never had the issue myself. Like I had the perfect fit sleeves and stuff. Like I've never encountered the issue, but I have seen it. Like that is a thing. Some folks.
I had it happen on the SGC ones, and I learned quickly there's a particular way you got to hold them to get them to slide in without it doing it. So
yep. Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about. I don't do a ton of them for the stuff. Like I said, I don't grade a ton, so I haven't had too many issues. But the ones I've used have not been a problem. But yeah, you do have to be a little bit careful with it. Once you've taken care of it and done it properly, oh good, no issue from there. But it's just getting the slabs in there properly, or just get a slab bag. Somewhere out there, Timmy's like, there you go, Tim, just for you, buddy. Yeah. Otherwise, like it was so good, so good. Yeah, had to have some fun with that one. Had to have some fun with that one. The clip was too good, Eric. Needed to be done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure a lot of people are going to play that one.
Yeah. So anyway, regardless, for the most part, there's no real story beyond them. It is a new Wagner that wasn't in the marketplace previously, which is great. That means it should, if they're gonna put up for auction, I guess, it should sell for a pretty penny. So we'll see what that happens. They don't sell all the time, the Wagners anymore. They used to sell pretty more regularly, but it's slowed down quite a bit. But they're still out there. It is good to know that there can still be some new ones found, which has always been part of the deal. That's always been possible. There's somebody hanging around out there that might have it on their wall or something. Like that's still totally possible. It's just they're not common, but they're not super, super rare either. It's one of those things where if you got enough money, you can get your hands on one, but it is nice to have another one in circulation. So, and it'll be predominantly, I'm sure it'll be included as a big piece of King of Collectibles. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm not too intrigued, to be honest. For me, the second season was really kind of weak. The first one was fun. The second season was kind of weak, so I'm not really holding out any big hope. If I have some time, I haven't had Netflix on in a while, so maybe if I turn it on for a little bit to catch up on some other shows, maybe I'll watch it. Otherwise, I really have lost a lot of interest in it. But bless them for trying. A Wagner is at least a decent draw if you're going to try to do it. It just feels like they're trying really hard. Kenny wants to be a star. He's a
been
name
everywhere.
Yeah, like he will go anywhere. Anywhere. Try as he might.
I loved how he said that, and it's his job to try to get the most and make the card seem like it's pristine. I get it. But I loved how he was like, this easily could have been a 1.5 to 2. And he's like talking about how, the face, and he like, there's a crease going halfway across it, but it's not like in the face part. It's, the face is unaffected and everything else. He was like trying to sell it as best he could.
Oh, he's got to try. Like he's an auctioneer. He's got to try to sell it. It's the only way.
Right.
That's how it's got to be. So we'll see what happens. I'm genuinely curious to see how it plays out going forward. It'll be interesting to see if they did get it renewed for at least a third season. So it'll be interesting to see if there's enough intrigue left at this point to be able to go beyond that. But hey, they were able to get 2 seasons out of it. That's at least one more than SGC podcast episodes. So already being at 2, they're already ahead of the game. Big time. By the way, it was completely missed. I was watching Big Scott's live on Sunday night. And I think it was Scott's. And Scott didn't know anything about Blur. Do you remember the band Blur? So the band Blur was a 90s one, and they're big. It was like their it was like their one-hit wonder was called Song 2. So I want to clarify here that my favorite thing is that I snuck in the comment that it's like, well, Blur, unlike SGC, got the song too. Paul was in the chat. He got that one. It's all about the clever comments. It was completely missed during the live. And I was like, no, I was proud of that one. I felt really good about it. Had to get in a little Song 2 reference. But anyway, okay, so we got that covered. Like I said, story-wise, there isn't too much else, at least this week. Right now, nothing else has happened. Another week has gone by. No updates on Probstein and the Snype and the data leaks or anything else. Silence, crickets.
I just want to repeat that, no one has any exact 100% proof of any of the accusations. I'll just
but Eric, the data leak thing we do in fact have confirmation that some folks have had you were still supposed to say something about the data leak.
Oh yes.
The thing so I don't know, like I'm not trying to even pretend to be legally knowledgeable in the space, but I will say that I have gotten things in the mail before notifying me of data leaks, and they'll be like 6-8 months ago. So I don't know like what the timeline is that they're required to notify.
I think it depends
people,
on the jurisdiction, but it's generally a lot faster than that. You really are pushing your luck with that because a lot of people, depending on the nature of it, you can get in a lot of trouble for not letting people know much sooner. And at this point, like in reality, let's put it this way. The rest of it about the shill bidding and all that and the accounts and all that, I'm not even focusing on that right now. That's why I separated the two things. The data leak part, we're all in agreement. There is a data leak. We are in agreement. You should still notify the people. That should have already occurred. Full stop. Even Big Bry acknowledges that, yes, you should do that. Like, basically, like, tell the people, apologize profusely, do all the things, cover that section of it, and then we can discuss the other piece. But the first piece is not denied.
Was it ever confirmed that Beckett had one?
They've been, as far as I'm aware, they've had one as well, yeah.
Maybe they're working on a 2-for-1 deal.
2-for-1 deal, yeah. Probably.
Or maybe that's why they sold out. They were like, screw this. We're not
it's all O-Peachy. It's all data leaks. It's all O-Peachy. It's all data leaks. Data leaks for everyone, Eric. In this holiday season, data leaks for everyone.
I just want to finish up by saying, in regards to the accusations of shill bidding and some other things, I just want to repeat what I've been saying all along. Yes, we have no 100% proof on that, but his silence is deafening.
Yeah. There's plenty of smoke. That's why I say I don't need to spend time worrying about the accusation piece. I repeat, I believe that there is plenty there. I believe, but I'm not the one who has to prove it.
And I'm innocent. Man, I'm setting myself on fire and running through town to get people's attention. And, this guy's just disappeared. So.
He hasn't disappeared. I still get emails. Hey, new eBay lots from Probstein. I see emails. They're not shy, Brandon. They're there. They will happily let us know about new auctions on eBay for Probstein. They're still there. No problem on that end of it. But anyway, so like I said, no updates on that as far as we're aware. One more thing I wanted to touch on, actually, it reminded me. I did want to mention it. So obviously, this is now, again, the way that the hobby world works now is so much stuff happens that we lose sight of things quickly. That's why I wanted to quickly bring it back up. No updates as far as we're aware. We'll see, but maybe every couple of weeks, Brandon, I'll bring it up again and like, all right, another week, another couple of weeks have gone by. Silence, no Snype, nothing, zero. Hold on, and I got it ready to go here, just in case, Brandon, just in case it's ever needed. We got it. We got it covered. So nothing on that one. But here is something that we do have something on. Well, something that we heard about a couple of weeks back. And then that silence, Eric, is also deafening. And that is on COMC. And obviously it was, I want to say maybe November, where those back pages those back pages did it in kind of an irresponsible way because he ran like, you may want to, he suggested a run on the bank, which maybe isn't the best idea in the world. However, it did bring into question for a lot of folks, is there an issue with people being laid off and staffing issues at COMC? Well, then our good friend, Tim Getch, I say that we don't know Tim Getch, but, Tim Getch was making the rounds, doing interviews not long before that. And then all of a sudden he has gone full Snype. I'm not going to play the crickets again, but he has disappeared and things have gotten really quiet over in COMC land and everything has grinded slowly down to a halt. Like it's moving, but it's moving so slowly. So I'll tell you, I will speak only for myself because I can speak on my end. I did request a shipment. I did that back on the 11th. So now at the time we're recording, this has been 11 days. And then obviously you got the items ahead of your order, that thing. So the number has been moving down. So it has moved, but very, very slowly, very slowly. And I think the total shipment is like 50, 60 carts, not like a crazy big one, but still whatever. So, give or take. Now, overall, it's still crawling along slowly. And when I originally made it, and even up until today, because it updated today, the estimated ship date updated today. Up until today, Brandon, the estimated ship date was December the 26th.
Ooh.
Which it was like, good luck with that. So anyway, so it was the 26th up until today. Today, it has moved And the new estimated ship date, Eric, February 21st, 2026.
Nikes.
2 months. That is a 2-month move today.
I don't want to use bad language in case the children are watching, but I would say that is that's poo-poo. That is some big old cow poo-poo.
It's a pretty big move, Brendan. Like, hard to disagree. Like I said, that's why I thought I would bring it up, because it like I said, it just got updated today. So Eric, just for us, I'll grab the little snip here. So there it is, right there. There's the items ahead of the order, 635,000. The date requested is right there, December 11th, and the estimated ship date as it stands today, and I'll keep people updated as it changes, is right now February 21st, 2026.
So what you're saying is, because I was going to add some more to my list here, my pile, and then request a shipment. So what you're saying is I might have a 2026 year-end COMC reveal.
It could be
the way things are looking.
So what I'm going to say right now, obviously, that's the reason why I thought I would bring it up, because it literally did get updated today. I've been monitoring it. So Eric, I was kind of watching that story peripherally. Obviously, nobody said anything. Obviously, people have been asking questions about it. People have been asking, but we don't have any answers. We haven't heard anything from anybody. I do know a few folks at COMC. So Eric, I will tell you that, and everybody else, that I will at least ask a question, and I will make inquiries. And even if the answer is off the record, I want to know if they have heard anything or whatever. If they can't be on the record, no problem. But I do want to at least make some inquiries and see if I can kind of try to get to pin it down a little bit. The specifics really aren't a big concern for me. The question comes to my opinion stands from what we said when people were originally asking questions about it. If worse comes to worse, eBay has money invested in them. They've got plenty of cash. A lot of problems can be fixed if you throw enough money at the problem.
Oh, yeah.
And they have plenty of incentive if they want to be able to, because what COMC does, nobody else will even attempt to do. And there's no reason to even try. That's a business model nobody else would try to do. And they hold a very specific place in the marketplace.
Well, here's something, and again, this is just looking at things and seeing ads and all that, posts.
Yeah.
They have been heavily advertising on trying to gain intake. Like, I have been seeing all kinds of posts with, tell us what you're ripping and submit your cards, blah, blah, blah. So they are heavy on wanting to take things in, but there's obviously a massive issue of getting things out. When do you, as a business, say, hey, maybe we should take some of this group that must not be too damn busy right now and move them over here to make these guys happy maybe they'll continue using us and start getting some of these orders out a little bit quicker. Because, like, if you're begging, and I get the revenue side of it that's coming in, but they're also making a good bit of money on the shipping end, because they bake in 50 cents a card shipping, plus then you pay to ship them to begin with, and they raise those fees. So it's like, I mean, to bump it like that, that's crazy.
Well, so the last time, and this goes back in the channel's history, the last time something like this happened was the pandemic period where they started getting backed up. And that was when they had the building and the machine, the building you could see from space. And back then, one of the problems that Tim Getch has and the people around him is that they are very slow to give information. They're very slow to provide updates. And that's what we were killing them on. Well, some of us, gave them all the excuses in the world, but some of us were killing them about it back then. I can go back to the archives and I can find videos, trust me, where we were killing them on it because things were getting slower. Processing was getting slower. And by the way, to your point, Brandon, I dropped off cards there from the expo and none of those have moved either.
But yet they're posting constantly.
Yep.
Submit your cards. And it's like, you can't do what you got in front of you. Like,
yeah. So that's why I think it's worthwhile. That's why I say I'm going to at least pose the question.
Especially if they're laying people off. If you're behind and you can't handle what's in front of you, then why are you getting rid of people? That's a bit ass backwards.
Well, you just assumed that RoboCop was going to handle it. They had a machine, Brandon, a machine.
Yeah, you could see from space.
Yeah.
Like I am, I'm not as a veteran of COMC as a lot of people. I basically talking to you guys on the Discord and getting into hockey and all that, it attracted me to the site. Obviously, Upper Deck's pulling the E-Pack away and going their own route with that, so that takes some of the intrigue of COMC away. But like, I don't know, I have a good bit sitting there right now, and I need to just decide if I'm going to add to the pile and then request, or if I just need to request now, because it doesn't look like things are going in a very good direction. So
yeah, well, that's why I say I'm going to pose the question. I will inquire. Doesn't mean they have to answer me, but I will at least pose the question to be worthwhile. That's why I said I think it's something I was willing to sit back and wait on because I was curious to see where it would go. And like I said, the intake processing has been slower. The outtake processing has been slower. And then also the even the COMC auctions for eBay. And this is important, Eric, because when we talked about the pandemic period, one of the things that we criticized was that they still had all these auctions on eBay. And on eBay, they were processing them much quicker. Even though they were still a little slow, it was definitely quicker. So we're sitting there going like, so you have the resources to make sure these are getting out on time because eBay has a certain standard. Right. You're going to start hitting negatives if you don't get the cards out on time. So if you're going to prioritize, if somebody buys it on eBay, then you have to get it out the door within a certain window. And if you start missing that window constantly, people are going to start asking for refunds and you're going to start having problems. And that's going to it's going to become an avalanche. It's going to build on itself and become bigger and bigger. During the pandemic, they had that problem, but during the pandemic, they had the fact that they were in a warehouse close by, and you were trying to figure out, okay, so you want to do social distancing, but we're in a warehouse, so we're kind of walking around each other, and I need people to pick stuff up, all this. So all these people are in close proximity anyway. How the hell do you make all that stuff work? Today you don't have that problem.
Do we think that them partnering and taking tag grading submissions has gotten them behind?
I blame tag for everything that has ever gone wrong in life.
Have just been so high that they had to push everything else to the side, and that's what's gotten them behind.
Brandon, it is obvious to me that all of the ills of this world started with tag. Eric is sick right now because the robots infected him.
Yep.
It is obvious to me. It's not even a question. Not even a doubt.
I'm just glad to see post after post after post from all these different companies out there. 2026 should be rainbows, unicorns, and just all happiness, because daily we are seeing a new company. We don't even know the acronyms or who they are, but they are going to solve the problems that have been happening in the hobby. So I am just so thankful that we are on December 22nd. I know Thanksgiving was in November, but we need to take a moment and be thankful that all of these companies are coming around. We've got the transparency's sake, and we got all of these companies that have identified the issues, and they know, and they have the resources and tools that they're going to fix the problems. So 2026 is just going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Not even a doubt, not even a question. Well, Brandon, on that right there, spirit of the season statement right there. As always, we praise the content gods that's in the corner. But Brandon, in honor of your words, boom, we're going holiday festive. Because I'm Carlos. Because I'm Logo Carlos with the proper holiday hat. He's there. All right, so real quick, bottom line, jokes aside, I do hope they figure out their stuff, because obviously, look, I think the ecosystem, we've got a lot of marketplaces. I think the ecosystem is better. There is a certain category of cards that makes sense on COMC that do not make sense in other places. It just doesn't. We can't do it on eBay. It's not going to work. A lot of these cards. And then if you're a singles buyer, like there's stuff on there that it's like, it wouldn't be worth selling on another platform because it's too cheap.
If you are, and this goes buying and selling, if you are someone that wants to just flip, the smaller end cards, it's a great place to do that on. You don't have to deal with all the listings and all that stuff and the shipping. If you are a buyer that likes to build little sets or binder pieces, or even some decent mid-level and sometimes upper level cards, it is a great place for that. So yeah, I'm in agreement. I wasn't on board early, but I have enjoyed throwing money on there occasionally and going on and buying a bunch of stuff and getting 100 or so cards and getting them shipped home. And it sucks that it's going the wrong direction. It seems the train's running in reverse.
So we'll definitely see. But like I said earlier, is that there's certain items that just aren't worth selling on a different type of platform. I like the ability, if I get stuck with a bunch of piles of stuff, these are nice cards, but they're not worth trying to sell on eBay. It wouldn't be worth trying to do it. I can send them to COMC, list them for $2 or $3 or $4 or whatever. And then if they sell for $2 or $3 or $4, that's perfectly fine, because then I don't have to deal with all the rest of it. They provide a very specific service. It's a niche service, but I do think there's a place in the marketplace for it. They do have millions of cards on there. So I hope, for their sake, they figure out whatever they need to figure out. But in the spirit of consistency, Eric, the same issue that plagued them during the pandemic. And right now, I don't think the reason is the same, because the pandemic issue is not the issue right now. They don't have that same issue. So the question is, what is holding you guys back right now? How do you resolve it? But what is similar is the lack of communication. And so many companies in this space would do so much better if they would just start telling people what's going on ahead of it. Don't wait until it becomes a problem and now everybody's at the gate going, hey, what the hell's going on? You don't want to be then trying to give them the excuses and answers. You want to get out ahead of it a little bit and just say, hey, we know there's an issue here. We're working on it right now. Say that yesterday. Don't wait until tomorrow.
Yeah,
start trying to give those reasons.
That if they announce that they're having an issue, people will take a pause and step back, and they'll lose money. So they rather just, keep trying to, use buckets to empty the sinking boat, but it's not going to work. But you don't want to tell anybody that it's sinking, you're just throwing the water, but it's still coming up from the bottom. It doesn't matter, but they don't want to tell anybody.
Yeah, well, the social media posts are going to get out anyway. That's why I said, guys, I was waiting because I was genuinely curious when. It wasn't a matter of if, because I've been observing, I've been watching. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when the date was going to get adjusted. And the fact that they got pushed almost 2 months, that's telling to me. That is very telling. That is you going like, holy crap. That sounds to me, Brandon, like somebody's drowning right now. Somebody right now is buried up to their eyeballs, and they're like, holy shit, what are we going to do? That wasn't a couple of weeks. They weren't doing it a couple of weeks at a time. They jumped 2 months, Brandon. They jumped to the future. So it's like, so that right there would concern me. Like, I understand this. I've been down this road before, but it would concern me if I did not already have that experience prior, if I hadn't already seen how this played out previously. Go ahead, Eric.
On the front end, have you noticed, or has anyone reported sending cards to COMC? How long is it taking to have them posted on their website and on eBay?
Well, I'm reporting that right now. I literally just told you. I left them stuff from the expo, and right now there's been no movement at all. Usually they would do it in usually they'd be doing it in batches. So usually there'd be at least a little bit of by this point, we're talking about mid-November, early November, actually. So usually by this point, there would have at least been a couple of small batches. They would have maybe run 10, 20, 30 cards at a time. And I would be getting these notifications and emails. Right now, it has been 0. There hasn't been one single card posted on there.
All right. So since early November, like the 9th, roughly November 9th, you turn those things in to them. You expect, they got to get back and, so you're not expecting them to be there the next day. So we are a month and a half from the expo, and you have gotten no word or no proof that this stuff has been posted. So you're not.
The proof that they've received it is there. It's in the processing queue. You get like a batch number, and then it shows you number remaining and the due date and all that. And the due date is always months in advance. That's normal. That's a normal behavior. But what happens then normally is you start to see, all right, we have processed 10 cards. So your account has been charged X number, or they've done, and then they do another batch, 20 cards. 10 cards, 15 cards, 30 cards, whatever. And then it'll do in batches. And then when it's finally done is when the total has been rung up. But in the meantime, it's doing these little batches. There have been no little batches.
That makes no sense to me. You figured you'd open up a box from a customer and just bang out that whole box.
They have never done it that way.
Then go get another box.
Never happened.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. That just
maybe that's part of the issue is the processing.
Well, Brandon, you got to think processing though. Like, so I'm not giving an excuse here, but I will point out that their model is actually more labor intensive and more, because remember, when you're talking about a box, it's one thing if it's a box of the same set, the same brand, whatever. But when it's a mishmash of different things, where it could be like, it's a box, but it could be 45 different brands, 10 different years, each one of those, they're processing them individually. So this one is 1996 tops. Okay, cool. Scan it, do the listing, do whatever. This one's 1994 tops. Okay, scan it. This one's football. This one's baseball. This one's basketball. This one's hockey.
There's still enough technology and programs and software out there with the identification end of it that should make that relatively simple.
Oh, like, they don't have that machine. Brandon, they don't have that machine.
And the
machine's a sorting machine.
Well, that's an issue because as in-depth in as many cards as they have, tech would be one thing that I would think that they would be on board with, because everything that you can upgrade to make all of the processes easier then makes everything more efficient, which means more money. Like, everybody always says time is money, and if you are not utilizing things to create and help with time and efficiency, you are wasting money.
Brandon, Tim Getch was a program manager at Microsoft. What do you think he knows about technology?
Well, obviously nothing if he's not using it.
Like I said previously, that company is very Eric, let me be polite. Okay. Fascinating. I am fascinated by the way they do some of the things they do and the decisions they make sometimes.
I mean, we joked about Beckett still using paper submission forms, but come on. Like, at the level that COMC is taking cards in and sending cards out, they should be utilizing a lot of tech.
That's why they gave an entire social media post back in the day about the sorting machine. Sorting machine. I might have made a meme about it, included RoboCop. I'm not saying I didn't. I might have. Brandon, I had so much fun with these guys, boys, back in the day. It was so good. So good. Wait. Memories. Truly. So we'll see. Like I said, I'll try to reach out to individuals where I can. They're not necessarily in a position to do anything about it, but I would be curious to get some insight. So if there is anything that I can hear and anything that I can share, I will do so. I have been monitoring it. Now I am curious to see. But to Eric's point from earlier, it's not whether people say it or don't say it, it's going to get out there anyway. So that's why I say the communication thing, I think, is extremely important. Because if you don't want to communicate it, well, other people will communicate it for you. And they'll start giving you their theories on why it's happening. And is that what you want? Is that what you would like to hear? Because guess what, Brandon? People have a lot of very creative theories on what happens if you don't give them anything and don't fill the space with something.
Oh, yeah,
you decide not to answer
questions. Made up.
Yeah, you decide not to answer any questions. You decide not to say a peep. And people start noticing. People see, Eric, that date go 2 months, like what I just showed you. Yep. They will start filling in the blanks for themselves, and you may not like the version of events that they come up with. So if you've got a story to tell, maybe it would be good to start telling your story, or else somebody will do it for you, and it might not be exactly the story you want out there. Some interesting thoughts. Like I said, Brandon, we always the content gods always provide. There's always something.
I'm going to assume that the guy that folds the boxes that they ship in is just behind, and that's why your number moved ahead.
It could be. It could be. It could be. Now, Brandon, this actually beautifully, seamlessly goes into my topic that I wanted to, the last topic. And that is the hobby resilience. Because I did make reference to it as a topic, but let me explain what that means. The hobby resilience is that a lot of people, I've watched videos where people are like, oh man, I'm so frustrated with the hobby because of, the shill bidding thing, defensive shilling, all this, every little controversy and every little thing is like, oh man, the negativity is getting me down. And Brandon, I find myself in this interesting spot where I pedal in the drama as much as anybody else, But I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time because the reality is the majority of it doesn't necessarily impact the rank and file person. It's like the regular news. If you sit there and watch the regular news, then every day is a disaster, no matter what actually happened in your day. Every single day is a disaster. It's the worst day ever. It is worse than yesterday, and we're all doomed. And I'm sitting there like, okay, then I have this conversation with my parents all the time. They're like, "Did you hear about it?" It's like, "No, I didn't." It's like, but I don't watch the news. I don't care. Does it affect me directly? And they're like, "Well, no." So then why would I care? If it doesn't pertain to me persistent. So that my point that I'm getting at, I like making the videos because it is interesting to me to have that discussion. I would rather make a video talking about some of that stuff as it's occurring, discuss certain components of it, speculate on some pieces of it. I would rather do that than do a video where like, all right, so here's a box of cards and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to show. I would rather do that 100 times out of 100 because I already have the box of cards, Brandon. I already know what's in it. There's no surprise. Like I know what's in it. I can talk about it, but I'm not excited to make that content. So I'm not going to. But when it comes to the other stuff, I watch as many of those newsy videos as anybody. It's usually I'm trying to get at least a sense of what the vibe is and what people are selling as far as the way they decided to take the news and say it. But none of that really, it doesn't hinder me. And it's almost like the comment that I read earlier with from Ken. He was saying, involving himself in his hobby at that time or something he was passionate about too closely kind of ruined the fun of it for him. And that can happen with collecting too. That can happen in a situation where maybe, and Big Scott did touch on this briefly during his live. If you know too much, it almost takes some of the magic away from it from some folks. They would almost rather live in ignorance and be like, all right, so I'm just going to open my boxes. I don't need to. But if I don't know about loaded boxes and I don't know about backyard breaks and I don't know about this and I'm just opening my retail box and going on about my day, I'm going to be happier than the person who's like, oh man, but I'm never going to get anything because the breakers get all the good stuff and this problem and this problem and this problem. And sitting there like, I can't disagree with you. I get what you're saying, but it's like, if that's the way you're going to go though, then maybe this isn't the spot for you. Because it's going to be miserable if that's the way you're going to feel about hearing about these things. Then maybe you shouldn't, or else it will make you miserable because that's the way you respond. That's a lack of resilience. That's what I was referring to when I'm referring to resilience.
I enjoy discussing it, whether we have a topic that we want to talk about and share thoughts on or whatever. I enjoy having fun with it, and some of the shit I say is just to to pique the little antennas and get people a little stirred sometimes. But overall, I have found that things have been a lot more fun. Oh God. To just go about the hobby portion of it for what I am looking for. And if Backyard pulls 22 MLB debut patches in a row, okay. Because the thing is, I'm not buying into their breaks. I'm not buying the boxes. So that portion of it isn't affecting me. Hopefully they pull the guy that I would like to buy. But if they don't, then whatever. It's become a lot more enjoyable to just you hear about. It's kind of like what Eric was talking about, or you might have mentioned it, but watching the daily news. Okay, like I'm right outside of DC. I hear all the crap that's going on in DC every day. Even though I'm living close by, what's happening up there, I don't really care. So it's not affecting my day-to-day. It's the same way, like I've actually been buying more cards recently here towards the end of the year than I did in the middle of the year, even though there's been a lot of more negativity, a lot more drama or whatever, newsy stuff going on. Well, products came out with a player that I've been wanting to buy. Does that mean that I'm just going to stop buying the player? No. I've actually continued on my path. If it was a few years ago where I was doing things differently, sure, I might stick my toes in the pond a little bit more. But right now, it's not affecting me. I just have fun with it, and discussing it and just sharing opinions, throwing throwing little darts at the wall that may or may not hit the bullseye. It's all just little discussions, and sometimes we can be creative in our discussions.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll move it to you here in a minute, Eric. Kind of plays into what I was talking about on Friday, though. On the Friday live, one of the things I was talking about, I was having a little bit of fun with it, but I was also talking about, like, okay, I can go through all the third-party graders, and I can share with you scandals and issues and questionable characters in the background, and all right, so and blah blah blah. I can do this. So, Brandon, if I know all these things, why am I even involved? Why am I
Right.
even around?
Even the whole thing where the politician, funny and coincidentally enough, I believe his name was what, Pat Ryan or Patrick Ryan.
Listen, Patrick Ryan's going to save the hobby.
We couldn't have gotten any more coincidental than that. But you know, that's the person that is throwing red flags and sending letters to, you know, to the to trying to get
The
someone
FTC
to look
is the
into
FTC.
the FTC,
Yeah, the FTC.
Federal Trade Commission. But you know, that's who we're depending on. And let's be honest, part of the issues are because it is unregulated. But at the same time, it's supposed to be a hobby. And there are many, 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 many hobbies in this world that aren't regulated or need to have regulation by the federal government. This one just happens to be so focused around value and money that there is a lot of shisty, shady actions that go on. I mean, you could call it fair game or you could call it questionable activity. The most recent thing with what you mentioned it with the Wagner, it was withheld from the pop report. My question of that whole deal is, why did it matter that you withheld it from the pop report if it wasn't going to sale yet anyway? Like, that was my big...
So I can quickly give some flavor to that. The only reason it would matter is if there had been a different copy that had
came
gone
to
up.
sale.
Yeah,
Right.
because at that point the pop report matters, because obviously the
Right.
people involved in are, so adding a new one to the circulate again, it's one. So but still modifying a number, because it's not like there's a ton out there. So even a little bit of an increase in the population may alter somebody's. It goes back to kind of the whole defensive bidding, whatever. It's not like you can sit there and go like, oh, but it would have gotten there anyway. How do we know? You've changed the variable. By changing a variable, you have altered the direction this would have gone if you had just let things play out on their own. So in this case, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, in this instance, it may have been no harm, no foul, but it's still the act and the question of why did you do this and what else goes on behind the scenes that we have to pry out and be told about, or that goes unknown. Like that's the biggest issue with it, is because these companies do have that ability. You know, they're telling us about this one, but it makes you then say, what haven't they put on the pop report? Is that Stephen Curry Topps Chrome Superfractor, has it been graded? And it just was left off the pop report so nobody knows? I mean, it brings up the questions. It causes more concern than anything in the unknown. And again, you know, that's in a sandbox way out of my financial realm. And, you know, I have a couple of them here that I've told PSA to leave off the pop report. You know, so I'm not worried about them. But, you know, at the same time, it gets people talking, it gets people wondering, it gets people questioning. And it leads to all of the negativity. And I don't think, you know, the joke earlier, 2026, everything was going to be resolved. I don't think there's a company out there that's going to fix the problems. Like,
no, and I don't have that. Look, can I take this a slightly different way, and then I'll get Eric in on this. I don't think a company or anything has to. So my overarching point here on the resilience thing, I asked the question rhetorically. I said, knowing the things that I do know, being aware of a lot of these things, why am I still around? Why did I, before we hit record, I set a snipe for a card. And in the next 20, 25, 30 minutes or so, it'll end, and I'll either win it or I won't, whatever. I set a number that I was satisfied with. If I win it, great. I'll pay for it and have it shipped to me. If I don't, that's perfectly fine. And after we finish recording this and I edit this video, and I get it put up, I'm gonna start watching some of my old pickup videos, Eric, because I got to start preparing for my year-end stuff. So why am I literally making hundreds of videos on an industry that is so corrupt, so broken, and all these things, and I've still been collecting, and I've been here for 35 years? How does that make any sense? The answer,
it's been that way.
It is, but also I don't care. And the reason I don't care is that I understand these things, so I operate within the parameters of the space that's in. I do my best to walk around the landmines and move around them and maneuver. It's not my job to fix it. I'm not expecting any one individual person in this hobby to fix it either. I'm not expecting any one company in the hobby to fix it either. And I'm not expecting any one entity in or outside of the hobby to fix it either. I am participating at the level of which I am okay doing so and collecting what I want to collect in the order and timing and sequence and whatever it is that I want to collect. And that is the way that I've been doing it since day one. The only thing that's happened is that as time has gone on, I've learned more of these things. It gives me more landmines to keep my eyes out for. It just gives me more things to be observant of. I don't want to live in ignorance, Brandon. So when it comes to the hobby, I will quote unquote watch the news, but not with a sense of dread. I'm watching the news to be like, oh, okay, interesting. That's the thing. So that's what happens. I wonder if they'll ever catch Eric for that Dallas car show theft. I mean, allegedly. Still haven't caught him. Still out there on the golf course.
People probably don't even remember.
Yeah. Still people out there, Brandon, on the golf course with the ghost of OJ looking for the real killer. And maybe they'll find the Dallas thieves. So again, Brandon, that's how beautiful it is. That's how ridiculous this genre that we're in is. There's so much stuff.
What's crazy is, and not to compare.
That they haven't caught Eric yet?
Well, that was over $2 million.
Something
with
like
cameras all around.
Yep.
With people all around.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they've just got with serial numbers on each slab.
Yep.
Like
none of it matters.
These people, there's been no mention, no updating, no nothing. But the Louvre,
Brandon, I got it. Brandon, I got it. It's tied. Probstein is going to crack the case and then tell us about the data leak at the same time.
Oh, so are we going to get a 3-for-1? Because we're going to get the Beckett in there too?
No, Brandon, a 4-for-1. Beckett is going to give us the data leak with Probstein's data leak. They're going to find the Dallas card show theft. They're going to solve the heist, and they're going to get a brand new machine for COMC to finish sending out its orders. Everything's fixed.
2026 is going to be absolutely freaking amazing.
We fixed it. We fixed everything.
Like, the Louvre heist happened, and they caught those people in a couple days.
Brandon, the Louvre has stuff that people give a shit more about. Let's be honest.
It's millions of dollars. I mean,
I understand. I get it.
Pokemon cards that were $2,000 or whatever. You're talking millions.
I get it. I get it. The Louvre, unfortunately, trumps the Dallas card show theft slightly.
Well, the estimated value there, though, wasn't. I mean, they said some of the stuff was priceless, but then they put prices on it. It wasn't astronomically higher than what those were.
Listen, look, if they ever figure out how to track Eric, then they'll get the stuff. It'll be fine.
Shouldn't 52 manuals and stuff be in the Louvre?
No.
Oh, come on, I was waiting for the answer.
Yeah. All right. So real quick. So anyway, bottom line, to put a button on this, and then I want Eric to get his bit. So bottom line was the reason that I've been hanging around knowing all this stuff is that I find a lot of it terribly amusing. Even the Dallas card show theft and all that, and all the theories I love the process, Brandon. I just enjoy the process. I like having these silly talk. I like Kenny dropping a Wagner while he's on CNBC trying to promote his stupid TV show. I love it. It amuses me. These things are so absurd, Brandon. I love it.
It becomes to the point that you have to ask yourself, what else can happen?
Yes.
Like,
and
how
Brandon,
damn stupid and far down can we actually go? How deep does this hole get dug?
That is why I pray. That is why, Brandon, I wake up every morning and I praise the content gods, because Brandon, that is a new opportunity. Brandon, this is why I have a positive can-do attitude when it comes to the hobby, because I wake up every morning, I praise the content gods, and I think to myself, what fresh stupidity am I going to see? What rule number 1 is going to be violated today? That's what I want to know. And I am here for it. And that, Brandon, is what gets me up in the morning. That's what gets me excited. That is what I am here for. And that, because the Schadenfreude is strong, I am here for it. Brandon, this is why I am very hobby resilient, because all this stuff happens and I just find it funny. I get a kick out of it. And I can also understand that some of it is serious. I can also respect that. And I'm happy to talk about it, but it doesn't bother me, if that makes sense.
Eric, so you know the bottomless box you have, right?
Yes, the tickle trunk.
Yeah, that's over.
Just blink once.
Okay.
If that's where the Dallas heist cards are located. The rest of the show, just blink once if it's a yes.
It'll only take one. That's it. It's an admission of guilt. We'll bring the jar of mayonnaise. That's what I thought. Anyway. All right. So Eric, so here, we dominated that portion of the conversation. Obviously you're trying to suppress the cough. So feel free to take your time with this one. But you understand what I was saying about the hobby resilience thing. It means not ignorance. I'm not saying live in ignorance. I don't like, Brandon, people that want to stick their head in the sand and be like, I don't want any negativity in my hobby. It's, it's harsh in my mellow, bro. It's like, listen, that's your business. Your life is your life. I don't like to live that way when it comes, because Brandon, even really bad news in the hobby is such small potatoes to me in the course of my life. The worst hobby news in the world is almost meaningless to me compared to like real bad news, real problematic news. There are just more important things. So putting that into perspective, that is why this hobby drama doesn't ever bother me. I find it amusing. That's resilience to me, because it's like, yeah, so you'll tell me a fresh thing and I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Really? Okay, that happened? Oh, okay. And then I go from there. But if it was real bad news, real world bad news, like real stuff, that's a different conversation. When it comes to the hobby, there's nothing you can give me hobby-wise. All the companies can go out of business. All the cards can burn to the ground. Oh, that's unfortunate. That really sucks. That's really sad. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. If you put it into perspective, I don't understand what we're getting all worked up about half the time. Eric, all you. What do you think?
The hobby is here for our entertainment, such as, say, sports. And whatever sport you follow, whatever team you follow, there's always news and drama. There's, the ref screwed us over, the GM sucks, this goalie's no good, this, forward's getting paid too much money, whatever it is, there's always drama. There's, issues, and people sit around bar rooms for generations, arguing and fighting over sports. Unless you're betting on it, it is just simply entertainment, and it doesn't change your life in any way. Whether the Patriots happen to kick the ever-living crap out of, I don't know, the Ravens yesterday, or they didn't,
or they scrape by the skin of their teeth and a lot of good fortune, and Derrick Henry sitting on the sidelines, possibly.
Well, there's that. But in the Brandon being on the losing end of that and me being on the winning end of that, our lives didn't change. It was for our entertainment.
Eric, your life kind of changed.
No. So it's for our entertainment. But, before we went on today, we were all discussing why was Derrick Henry not in the game? Why wasn't he in the last two, times that they had the ball possessions? It made no sense. Why are we having that discussion? Because it's part of our entertainment. So to move on, when it comes to this hobby, the crap Beckett has done for years, that doesn't affect any of us. None of us grade with them. None of us purchase things from them. None of us support them. We're not sponsored by them. Why do we continue to talk about Beckett, make fun of Beckett, shake our head every time they do something? Because it's part of our entertainment. So that is the number one reason why we do this show. It's for our entertainment. We're lucky enough that other people find us entertaining and we're part of their entertainment. But we sit here and we discuss things that are going on in the hobby, not always because it affects us or changes our lives, because it doesn't. I can sit and talk about grading and my opinions on grading for the next hour. I've graded one card in my life, and all I did was say, "Hey, Brad, here's a card," and he came back 2 days later and said, "Here, Eric, here's a card." That's my grading experience. I didn't even fill out paperwork. So,
ooh, Eric's got himself a fancy direct line, Brandon.
So yeah, and I got a shitty.
Do we know that this hit the pop report?
Yeah, and
I don't know.
I got a card that I thought was going to be like a 6 or a 7, end up getting like a 4, and I'm like, this is why people don't do this crap. This is stupid.
Because you're blind?
Well, so the point is, I can sit here and talk about grading, having only graded one card in my life, and paid for it, right? And been disappointed in the outcome, just like everybody else does on a daily basis. PSA is doing 1 million cards a month. I could sit here and talk about that because it's part of the entertainment. Just like if I was sitting at a bar having a beer with you guys talking about why Derrick Henry didn't get in on the last 2 possessions. And we could sit here and talk about if I was the coach and why didn't they do this and it doesn't affect our lives. We have no say in it, in its reality, and we aren't going to sitting there and drinking beer and talking about Derrick Henry isn't going to change the outcome or going to change the future and what the Ravens do next week. But we're going to sit there in that bar for 2 hours drinking beer and arguing over whether they should have played him or shouldn't have played him. Us talking about the drama in the hobby is the exact same thing. I'll end it on that.
I guess
I'll give another just little tidbit to that, because to Eric's point, it's where you position yourself in the space of whether or not what happens affects you. If someone has $1 million invested in cards and something happens shady that affects the $1 million in cards that they thought were going to go to 3 million, that is life-changing, because they would have gained $2 million, and instead maybe it went the opposite direction. So there's different areas in it. For us 3, it's not going to affect us at all. I have navigated through several paths that I could have just threw my hands up, quit, and said, I'm done with this shit. A lot of people probably would have, a lot of negative things that went on, or people that I was associated with, or SGC going out of business, or not going out of business, but getting sold or whatever. Like,
breaking news, Brandon has closed SGC. It's out of business.
Yeah, I kicked Pete out finally. No. The money that I had spent in buying wax and opening it, and then it got so out of hand, I could have said, okay, screw this, I'm not doing it anymore, and just quit the hobby. Instead, I've navigated and found the routes that continued making it able to be done, and able to be done in a fun way. And I think that's part of it too. Like, you can give up or you can adjust. And if you let all of these negative things affect you and you don't want to adjust, then your only other option is to give up. And I don't know if people realize that. Some people might be so heavily financially invested in this stuff that they don't see an escape route, because if everything came crashing down, they have nowhere to go. They would have nothing but a pile of debt without a shovel to dig their way out. So, and that is the sad part of this space, is there's probably likely a lot of people out there like that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair. But yeah, that's the reason why I thought it would be worthwhile to finally fully flesh out and broach the topic, because it's right here at the end of the year. One of the next videos that I'm going to do is going to be, I'm going to do my favorite pickups of the year. So Eric, I'm going to show both ends of this spectrum here. It's going to be one video that's going to be my favorite pickups of the year. So I'm going to go through all the pickup videos and make a little list together and try to get in my head, because I can't remember with different mail days and all that. It's going to be hard for me to be like, was that this year or was it last year? Like, If something came in January, it might throw me off. And that happens every year. Like it's hard to distinguish what was the December pickup versus January and so on and so forth. But I'll go all the way through. And over the course of that, I'm going to get to relive a bunch of the pickups through the course of the year. Oh, that was that was a pretty good card. Oh, that was a really good deal that I got, so on and so forth. That's one video. The other video is going to be kind of a recap of the channel, looking at all this stuff. And I'm going to be like, I've made literally hundreds of videos over the course of this past year between this channel and the wrestling channel. Probably comfortably over 200 videos. You do not do that if you do not find some enjoyment in doing this. Otherwise, it's a lot of time invested, a lot of energy invested, and for what? You have to enjoy it on some level, and I do. But that's only because I look at it like I'm collecting my stuff that I want to collect. The Josh Rosen stuff, there's no value in any of that stuff. It's entertaining as hell for me, but that's it. Brandon, the ROI on that's going to be shit. Like anything I spend on it is basically money thrown into the incinerator. There's way better uses of the money, but I get a kick out of it. Every time I go through the box, I'm like, holy crap, this is a lot of impressive stuff that, again, in 2018, this would have been a mint. Somebody would have spent a lot of money to put the equivalent of this box together back then. And today you can get it for a pittance, pennies on pennies.
I was actually talking with a guy that used to submit cards with us, Ryan, and I was sharing with him, like he's talked to me about the Dalen Lyles that I've picked up and everything. And to be honest with you, a third of what I've spent this year on eBay has been on Dalen Lyles. And within the last probably month and a half. And it's kind of like the same way as your Rosen. I don't know if this kid's gonna, produce and be a long-term star or anything like that. It's just a player on the team that I've chosen that I wanted to build a collection of, just like Robles and Taylor. And I told him, I was like, and he knows what all I've been able to pick up and everything. And he was like, I'm impressed at how much you've been able to get in such a short period of time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, the only thing is this reminds me that in 2018, I could have done the same thing with Juan Soto, and it would have actually been cheaper. And he was like, yeah, and you would be rich as hell right now, because we've seen where, a Juan Soto clear out of 10 or a camo out of 25, like what those would do today and what they were back then. So it definitely makes you reflect on damn, the opportunities were there.
Yeah, and that's usually what happens. It's the way it goes, and that's fine. I just think it's important kind of to have a little perspective. That's the reason why I figured that segment would be worthwhile to have the discussion, because I watch the comment sections, including here and including the live chat, and a lot of people get super worked up, and Eric knows this. I get a kick out of it. But I also, in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there like, why are you getting so worked? Especially some of the people they really get worked up about is like, a grading issue. But you don't even grade cards. So why would you be that upset about it? Who cares? Like, they can screw up every card in creation, but if you're not grading anything and it's not your cards that are being messed with, I would be upset, Brandon, if they mess up my cards, like they damage my cards or something like that, like they damage my stuff. That's a legitimate reason to get upset. But them screwing up somebody else's order or doing, why would I get upset about that?
I think it goes back to, I'm not going to go into a tangent. I just think it goes back to what I said, that the hobby is part of your entertainment. All aspects of the hobby is entertainment. Arguing and fighting over every little aspect and thing in the hobby is part of the entertainment. And it's exactly like when we follow our sports teams and follow the sports we like. I mean, you should have heard what I was saying about Yolanda Neff and and her cyclocross race the other day. I don't have to tell you guys. I mean, you watched it. I mean, did the first part come with, I like to imagine, Brandon, Eric having his multiple personalities, that Yolanda Neff, and he starts going off, and then he himself, because there's nobody else in the room, he himself goes, who? He does it all to himself. Like he doesn't even wait for us. He just goes, who? It's like, what? Yolanda Neff, the Yolanda Neff. Like, we're watching this. What are you doing? Her red jersey's right there, autographed right there.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
I don't have to tell you guys. I mean, you guys were watching it, I'm sure. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
It's no Ed Ronan.
No, but who is?
Yeah, honestly, who is that? Who is Ed Ronan? Who is Ed Ronan? Legitimate question.
Icon.
Yeah, an icon, an ingrained icon. So anyway, So I just thought I would have a little bit of that last segment there to have a little perspective, like to each their own. I'm not going to tell anybody how they should. I go back to my default, Brandon. I'm not going to tell anybody how they should feel about whatever. You can feel however you want about whatever you want. That's your business at the end of the day. You're the one who has to live with it, not me. But I would say maybe this year, and maybe a little reflection time would be good for a lot of folks. It goes, if this stuff really bothers you that much, then maybe you should stay off it a little bit. Focus on go watch the video. I shared on the Discord with Dakota. I randomly came across it. It actually came on my feed. Sometimes, occasionally, you do get a new person that you haven't seen before, or whatever. I came across a video that was this guy showcasing their pickups for this year. And it was a lot of baseball, but a lot of Houston baseball. And there was a lot of nice, like a nice Craig Biggio, a nice Bagwell, like the Houston guys.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was good stuff. But I had never heard of this dude before. Video didn't have a lot of views. It was completely new to me. I'd never heard of him. But I know Dakota is a big, obviously, Houston sports fan. Love the Astros from back in the day. Those are some of his 90s Astros guys. And I go, here you go. This might be into your sensibility. So I shared the link to go, hey, check it out. There's some nice stuff here. And if you're into it, this would be right up your alley. If you like some 90s, you like some Houston Astros, here you go. Eric, that guy just made a video, and it barely had any subscribers, barely had any views, but he made the video anyway. And he had nice stuff. So it's like, hey, good for him. And hopefully
he's showing cards and showing what he enjoys. So
yeah. And I shared it with somebody else who might be interested in it because they're the kind of cards they like. It can be done. It's not that hard. But at the same time, I can also enjoy the other stuff. I can get a kick out of with the silliness of it. I can get a kick out of, and I got to play it one more time before we go out, boys. I got to play it one more time here. Got to enjoy it.
This will sell anywhere between $5 and $7 million.
Hey, Ken, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
I got one more question, which is
Yep.
for the kids out there who are thinking of buying new cards.
Yeah.
I love the guy on the right. He has the shit-eating smirk and says, "Oh, jeez, is that okay?"
Yeah. But he was like, he was. There was actually more to that clip, and he was like, "It's a $5 to $7 million." He goes, "And you're just carting it around?" And he's like,
Oh, yeah.
Ken's got security with him and everything, but he's like, "It's Times Square." He can't get his head around the idea. Why would you be hanging around? Why would you be holding that damn card? So it was just so Eric. I can enjoy the absurdity of the hobby represented by that clip and the $1 Million Man cackle at the end of it. And I could also enjoy a simple video of somebody showing off some neat cards. Yeah. Some that I'd never heard of, never seen the stuff. Look, some of its stuff's pretty cool. I know some of that 90s baseball stuff. I'm a fan. And then I shared it with somebody else who I thought might enjoy it. Brandon, this can be done. Both these things are possible. I assure you. It can be done.
Yep.
It's crazy. And on that bombshell, penultimate episode, second last episode of the year. We'll be back next week for episode 160. As always, if we've got thoughts or comments, feel free to leave them in there. We do read the following thoughts or comments on there. You can let everybody know that the hobby is ruined for you forever.
Yes.
That it is all broken, and that everything.
I lost every damn auction tonight. I just might as well give up.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. I lost my Snype too. It's devastating. It's over, Eric. It's all over, man. Even my Snype did not work.
I was bidding on something, and I'm glad I lost it because then I remembered I had something similar but better, and there was no reason to spend that money. So I'm glad I didn't win it.
Did you now? Is that what you believe?
Yeah.
Oh, look. So we all three lost out tonight.
Yeah, but
that's it. The hobby's over.
We're done. We're done. All it quits. It's over.
This Gordy stick piece is a lot nicer than the ingrained Gordy stick piece that I was bidding on. So this one's a lot nicer.
Is it now?
It
is. It now?
Oh, it really is.
All right.
But you could have the whole stick if you keep buying the stick pieces.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I have game used sticks in here, and they're really hard to display. And I
especially with metal racks around.
I can't go down that rabbit hole. We have so many gamers. Adam Oates gamer just came in. It's sitting there, and it's like, no, say no. We got tons of gamers from the guys in the 70s that I love and the 80s that I love. and it's like I can't. I have enough.
If you cut the end off that curves,
Yeah, it's easier.
you could like just put them, stack them up above each other.
But
is this like a situation, Eric, where you look at those gamers and you think to yourself, it's like what happened with the Bobby Orr situation, except you look at those gamers and you're like, I bet that stick would look even better if I smacked it off of a shelf, and the sweat is just burrowing off your brow. And you're like, just let me hold it for a minute near the shelf. I'll fix it. I'll make it better.
Hey, so if you decide
that, so they still let me touch the good stuff, but if they actually knew that I did that, they probably wouldn't let me touch
So you're saying they don't follow their own social media?
Oh, they don't follow my social media. I didn't put it on the companies. I put it on my own, and they don't care. They don't even know I have Instagram. Probably, I don't know.
So if you put mop heads on the end of them when you bring them home, they'll just think you bought a new mop.
There you go. I can't have 100 mops in the closet. There's no place to put them.
It's their janitor's closet.
Yeah, the Peter Forsberg closet. It's all there.
That was really Peter Forsberg. You're just mad that I chose him over you, and I was late for dinner. That really was Peter Forsberg.
No one cares about Peter Forsberg.
I did. I hung out with him. You didn't.
You care about very dumb things. You care about cycling. That's a low bar. What are we talking about?
You're not going to badmouth Yolanda Neff, are you?
We're not convinced she's real.
Her jersey's right there. Autograph.
Well, maybe if you held the frame near a shelf or something, maybe we'd be convinced. Kenny. Invoking some good memories for us all. Yeah. All right, that's it. On that bombshell, we're going to conclude this episode. Thank you all for participating and check it out. Obviously, year-end videos will be coming up forthcoming. The next 2 live streams will be midweek. There'll be placeholders for both. BIC Christmas special, New Year's special. I'll see if I can invite some special guests. We'll see about that, especially the New Year's one is always a fun one. The Christmas special is good too, but it's going to be a shorter episode than normal, but it will be at the homestead. And then with some luck, Carlos Sr. will make his annual appearance. And then for the New Year's one, it'll probably be whoever wants to pop around. We'll see. Maybe we get some Spicy Eye. Maybe we get some of the West Coasters. Who knows? Listen, I can't say for sure. I'm going to make inquiries. And if they're around, maybe we'll get a chance to see them, the cast of characters, an expanded group of cast of characters. For the New Year's.
One way or another, we're still working on it, but one way or another, we will be asking for people to donate some money for the Ray Bork Family Foundation, like we did last year. So if anyone would be interested in that, think about how much you'd be interested in donating to the Ray Bork Family Foundation. You can look it up on Instagram, to double check and see that it's a real charity. And also, if you go through my Instagram, earlier this year, you'll see me handing him the check from last New Year's that we raised about $300 and something for. So you see me handing the check to Ray. So the 100% of the money that we raise, 100% of the money we raise will be handed to Ray Bork personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and between this and next episode, we'll finalize some of the details as well. So maybe we'll do a couple of things to make it a little bit more enticing and interesting for you folks. And open to suggestions if you have any thoughts on how we can accomplish that. Again, you can go back to last year's episode because we had the same thing. We had charity, but obviously it was more put together. This time around, we'll have a little planning involved. Anyway, that's it. So Brandon Bobbles and Baller Cards, known associate in 540 Flips. Coach Eric, send us into or on the Instagrams. You can send all your hate mail there. It's the right place to do, right thing to do. More videos coming up on the channel before the end of the year. A couple more live streams. And the longest running episodic, whatever it is, we don't know. It continues. By the way, on New Year's Day, Brandon, will officially be 1,900 days since the live stream streak began. Exactly 1,900 days.
Craziness.
This year, Brandon, the even numbers have been brilliant. The Spooktacular fell on Halloween. Like this, Eric, this has been coming up like Millhouse on every milestone, specific dates, and it's been amazing.
We're not even in 2026 yet, which is just going to be absolute freaking rainbows and unicorns.
Incredible. Sensational. Anyway, that's it. Have yourselves a good one. Catch you next one. Oh, and on YouTube, people, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Do it.